Come in.
Good morning, Dad.
Morning. I'm putting those on in a minute.
That's no reason to leave them on the floor all night.
Sorry.
Have you been smoking? Then what's that?
Fog. Oh, how did that get there?
Dad, I wish you wouldn't do this. What if you fell asleep? The house could catch fire.
Well, look on the bright side. I'd be the first one to go.
That's not funny. Now, what are you smiling for?
I'm thinking of you tidying up the blazing room so it'd be nice and clean for the fireman.
That's not funny either.
I'm not getting off to a very good start today, am I? I better go back to bed.
You haven't got up yet.
Oh, that's a journey saved.
You usually get up early.
I know. I'm saving my strength. Harry and I are going to play football today.
You can't. You're too old.
I'm not talking about trying to get into the England team. I mean a friendly game. And I'm not too old.
You'll hurt yourself.
Well, if I do it scoring the winning goal, I won't care.
I don't believe this. How many of you are playing?
Me and Harry.
You can't have a football match with two men.
I know that. We'll recruit. It'll be like when I was a boy. We start with two of you kicking a ball around and other children join in until you've got two teams.
You'll be killed if you play with a lot of children.
I don't intend to. You've got to be 60 to qualify.
60?
Yes, I'm prepared to let a few youngsters in.
Dad, why are you doing this? What's the matter with you?
Now, why put those two questions together? I'm not trying to recapture my youth. I simply want to prove that old age doesn't mean lying around all day.
Shall I get you breakfast in bed?
I'm getting up.
Harry, you said?
Yes.
But he seems such a sensible man. Why would he agree to do such a silly thing?
Well, he hasn't actually agreed yet.
It's the most stupid idea I've ever heard of.
You can't play football, that's what you're saying.
Of course I can play football. Well, I could. But that was 40 years ago.
Could you smile 40 years ago? Could you talk 40 years ago?
Obviously.
Well, so you can still smile, you can still talk. Why can't you still play football?
I can't run.
Well, neither can I. Who says it has to be a fast game?
Ellie.
I'm neutral. Come on, Neil, time for school.
My daughter said it was a silly idea.
Well, she's right.
You're as boring as she is. Ah,
You will look after it, won't you?
I promise.
I never knew Grandad to play football.
Granddads do all sorts of things.
I've never seen Grandad play football.
Come on, Neil, time for school.
I'll take him.
Thanks, Harry.
That's right, run away.
We walk.
Bye, darling.
Shall I kiss you?
How would I know? Bye.
Bye. I just thought Granddads were too old to play football.
Come on, Neil.
I wish I had a grandson.
How old's your daughter?
Young enough. I keep encouraging him.
Oh, does she want to be encouraged?
I'm not sure. Betty likes order, you see. And a child might make ripples in the smooth pond she's made for herself.
Can't be that smooth a pond if you're in it.
That's true. But I won't be with her as long as a child would. What do you think about playing football?
I've never tried.
Harry and me.
I think it's impractical. I think you'll probably hurt yourselves.
I think you'll be dreadfully tired afterwards. I think it's a wonderful idea.
Go! I hadn't even put the other goalpost down.
Get a move on. Get the ball. Things are looking black for England. 10 minutes to go, the World Cup final, and they're trailing Germany 3-2. But, wait a minute. There's a touch of inspiration from the English manager. Taking off Stanley Matthews and putting on the veteran striker, Peter Kickett. The crowd goes wild as Kickett strides onto the pitch. You don't understand there? Kickett! I didn't mean that far.
Can't you run, Grandad?
Like a deer, if necessary. It's amazing. Kickett has the legs of a 20-year-old. He picks up the ball in his own half and sets off on one of those dazzling runs that have made him famous. He beats one man. 2. 3. Lawton screaming for the ball. But Kickett takes on the last defender himself. Cuts inside and shoots!
Miss,
You moved the goal!
you just missed.
I'll see about that. Come on, let's have some penalties.
You get the ball then.
I'm a striker!
I got it last time.
Well, if you're going to be childish... Well, you could have kicked it back.
I've got a plastic hip.
Well, it probably works a lot better than my real one. Do you fancy a game?
I'm 68.
I didn't ask your age. I said, do you fancy a game?
Don't be ridiculous.
How about you?
I mustn't get me trousers muddy.
Who says?
I do.
You're lost. You're a lost soul. What about you, sir? You look like a sportsman.
I'm dying.
Yeah, but not at this very moment.
No, I don't think so.
Who says you're dying, anyway?
My doctor.
I see. When?
Maybe a year.
Oh, I'm sorry. Perhaps you'd like to referee.
I'm off to the hospital now. Don't really want to go.
I went.
It's different for a woman. What if it is my fault?
It won't be anybody's fault. We just have to find out why we can't have a baby. You already know it's not my fault.
Fault? You see, you said fault.
Well, let's not search for the right expression. If there is something, well, not quite right, I shan't blame you.
I shall.
I love you, you know.
And I love you. Funny. We don't often kiss in the daytime.
Better be going.
Yes, I suppose so.
Yeah, good luck.
Thank you.
Tension in the stadium is unbearable. Just 1 minute to play. And England leading 5-4. Germany have a penalty. And only the veteran goalkeeper, Peter Kickett, stands between them and extra time. He waits, coiled like a spring, as Von Klonk steps up to take the penalty.
Oh, I've had enough of this.
We've only been playing an hour.
It seems like 12. Where are all these other old men you said would join in?
They have no red blood in their veins. That's their trouble.
Well, they do have brains in their heads. I've had enough. I'm tired.
Well, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
All right, I am. It's an absurd idea. I'm just a silly, tired old fool.
A football injury?
Yes.
I see.
Well, aren't you going to make some comment?
No. I've given up being surprised by anything I see and hear. The doctor will see you as soon as he can.
If I die in the meantime, my friend will tell you where to send the body.
Does it hurt?
Well, of course it hurts.
If you hadn't got angry with yourself, you wouldn't have fallen over.
Well, you're a great comfort to me, you are. Trouble with you is you're... Brian!
Dad. What are you doing here?
Well, just thought I'd come in for a sit-down.
He hurt his wrist playing football.
Playing football?
Here we go.
What were you doing playing football?
He made me.
I don't believe that for 1 minute. Hello, Harry.
Hello, Brian. Good to see you again.
Thank you. Good to see you again.
What are you doing here?
Me? Oh, nothing special. It's just a minor... thing. Look here, are you being attended to?
What sort of minor thing?
I'd really sooner not talk about it.
The doctor will see you now. Would you like a chair?
Well, I'm sitting in the chair.
I meant a wheelchair.
Try putting me in a wheelchair and I'll strangle you with your own stethoscope.
Come along then.
I'll feed the meter.
You don't have to wait.
I can't leave you here. How would you get home?
I'll have myself posted.
I'll wait.
I wonder what he was doing here. I should see a doctor about that cough. Do me a favour. That corridor he came out of, go and have a look at the signs.
That's prying.
I know.
The doctor will see you now.
Good. Because I'll see the doctor now.
How can you be disappointed that it's just bruised?
Oh, bruises are dull. I was setting my heart and having the whole arm in plaster.
I don't know. I'll get the car.
Can we give Harry a lift?
Yes, of course.
I'm all right.
Not if you're as stiff as I am.
It's no trouble.
Well, thank you.
No, the signs in the corridor. Which department was he visiting? Well, well, well.
But of course you must come in. Ellie would love to see you.
Who would I love to see?
I said we'd just drop him off.
We brought Peter's son-in-law.
What?
Well, what do you have in mind? Opening the car door and chucking him in the gutter?
Fine.
Brian, meet Ellie.
Oh. How are you?
A mess. Oh, do sit down if you can find a space. I'll get the coffee.
God, I love this woman.
How'd the football go?
Most of the time I love this woman.
Nobody would play with us. We got tired. But Peter hurt his wrist. He had to go to hospital.
It's nothing, just bruising.
You were talking about changing your will on the way there.
Glad you had a good time.
You knew about this football.
Yes?
Why didn't you discourage it?
I never discourage rebellion.
All of the time I love this woman.
Brian very kindly gave me a lift home.
Thank you.
We met Brian at the hospital, actually.
That tells me you have a little boy.
Yes, he's down the road playing with a friend.
I think Brian was visiting a fertility clinic.
Dad!
Have you no tact?
None.
I'll get the coffee.
For heaven's sake, we're all friends.
But I've only just met Ellie.
Ellie's a friend the moment you meet her. Anyway, what's so dreadfully secret about wanting a baby? What's so shocking?
You're right.
Who said that?
I've never talked to anyone but Betty about it. It isn't easy.
Oh, look, if you don't want to.
But I do. I really do. You see, we do want a baby, and we already know there's no reason why Betty can't have one, and then today at the hospital, it's so frustrating.
My dear fellow, I am sorry.
I've never known what tact is, you see.
No, you've got it wrong. All today proved is that there's no reason why I can't father a child. That's why it's so frustrating.
Oh.
It isn't as though we don't try. We keep a calendar, we mark off all the right dates.
Oh, throw it away.
But we've got it all worked out.
Well, I think too many things go wrong when you try to work them out beforehand.
Don't know about that.
Well, she is a woman.
A messy one.
With the greatest respect to Ellie, Betty is a woman too, and she has views. I mean, you're just being a woman doesn't necessarily qualify you as...
As what?
What?
Doesn't qualify her as what?
I can't think of the word.
Can you?
I can't be expected to know the word Brian can't think of.
Presumptuous.
No.
Oh, yes, I am. I have too many opinions. I always think I know what's best for everybody else. I'm sorry.
But I'd like to know what you were going to say. Please.
Well, for what it's worth, this trying to have a baby. You see, maybe that's the problem. Maybe every time you make love, it's like you're in the Olympic Games or something. You have to win. Perhaps if you just took part, just thought of each other and made love. Let's have some coffee.
Can't get on the blacklist now. I won't go down
Where have you been? Did neither of you realise what time it was? Do you know how worried I've been?
Which question would you like me to answer first?
Well, I met Dad at the hospital.
What are you talking about? Why should Dad be at the hospital? What were you doing at the hospital?
There's 6 questions I've got to answer.
You see, he'd hurt his arm.
How did you hurt your arm? You hurt your arm playing football, didn't you?
8 questions.
Oh, will you stop being so bloody clever and answer one?
9. All right. We met at the hospital because I hurt my arm. But it's all right, it's only bruised. Then we dropped Harry off and came home. Well, all cleared up.
Well, you could have phoned.
The time just went by.
That's what time does.
And we got chatting with Ellie,
Who's Ellie?
Harry's landlady.
Well, she must be a very fascinating landlady if you've been chatting to her for this long.
I'm hungry.
Dinner's ruined. And what were you chatting about?
Oh, this and that. As a matter of fact, we chatted about our problem.
No.
What?
Yes.
With a complete stranger? How could you do such a thing?
Why are you asking him the question and looking at me?
Because it's bound to be your fault. You weren't even supposed to know, and it's none of your business.
We are talking about my grandchild.
He has a point, Betty.
And don't stick up for him. You talked to a complete stranger about something completely private, and you haven't even bothered to tell me how you got on at the hospital.
Oh, dear.
He's fine.
I wasn't asking you.
I wasn't telling you, I was telling the chair.
Well, are you fine?
Yes. There's nothing physically wrong with me either.
And my arm's only bruised, so it's good news all round. Let's have a drink.
Wouldn't you prefer to go to bed?
That's a spirit. Well, don't just stand there, Brian. Slip into your silk pyjamas.
You!
I'm hungry.
Why don't we have a drink?
Good idea. I'm thirsty as well.
Why not?
Well, don't sit there looking as though you're at a funeral. This is a celebration.
Why?
Why? Because you can have a baby. There's no reason why you haven't had a baby. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Perhaps we've been trying too hard. Perhaps we shouldn't expect to find a pearl in every oyster.
Perhaps we shouldn't.
If we could get a bit more laid back,
Pardon?
relaxed. If we didn't get obsessed with making a baby every time we made love, maybe a baby would just happen. Out of love. Because we do have love.
That's rather a beautiful thing to say.
I didn't think of it, Ellie did.
Beautiful.
Ellie did.
Yes.
Well, she sounds like a very wise woman.
I think she is.
Yeah, how about another drink?
So you're taking advice from some old dear who runs a doss house?
It isn't a doss house. As a matter of fact, she's young.
Fairly young.
Attractive?
Very.
Fairly.
I see. And I assume this Ellie produces children if someone whistles at her from across the street.
You shouldn't talk about her like that.
There's football on the television if anyone wants to
Oh,
watch.
shut up about football and stop interfering in our life. If we ever do have a baby, it will be for us. It will not be a present for you.
I think I will go to bed.
Betty didn't mean that.
Yes, I did.
And you're quite right.
What?
Well, of course I'd like a grandchild. But you're right. I shouldn't think of it as a present for me. You were my present.
You're very stiff today.
I'm not stiff at all. I'm wearing new shoes. Where's the other old fogey today?
He can't come out. He's hurt his ankle.
Brushing his trousers, presumably.
No, jogging.
Jogging? What was he jogging for?
Well, it was your fault. You tried to make us feel old, he said. So he decided to jog home. And he hurt his ankle.
You want to mind your own business.
And you want to get some exercise. You'll freeze to death sitting there.
It's my other granddad.
Hello. I just thought I'd look in and see how Harry was today.
He can't get out of bed.
He doesn't keep his body in peak condition like I do. I'm not even stiff.
I can see that. Neil?
Yeah?
Can you take this up to Grandad, Harry?
Yeah.
Careful. That's it.
He's a good boy.
Yeah, he is.
And you are looking particularly beautiful today.
Oh, I assume you want some soup.
Yes, please.
You don't deserve this.
Now, Harry's just stiff. You thought it was a good idea yesterday.
I'm not talking about the football. I'm talking about you embarrassing your poor son-in-law.
He was very taken with you.
I don't care if he was taken with me or not.
Very taken.
The point is that 2 minutes after we'd met, you had the poor man discussing his sex life with me.
Oh, it's good for him. He's far too inhibited. I bet he still changes behind the wardrobe door.
I said too much.
I thought you were terrific. It did him good talking to a real woman. I knew it would.
You old devil! You brought him here deliberately.
I just took advantage of prevailing circumstances.
And what's all this real woman rubbish? Every woman is a real woman.
You haven't met my daughter.
That's a really nasty thing to say.
But it's true. Among other things, a real woman is spontaneous.
Oh, is she?
Yes, and the only spontaneous thing Betty's ever done in her life is sneeze. If you ask me, that's half the trouble with this baby business.
The fact is that Brian should have talked to Betty and not to me.
But he did when he got back. But if he hadn't talked to you, he wouldn't have had the nerve.
I shouldn't ask this, but how'd it go?
Well, by the time I went to bed, it was developing into a first-class row.
Oh, wonderful.
But a row means emotion, and there's little enough of that in that house. The next thing
Do us all a favour and don't interfere again.
That's what some old fool in the park said to me today. Just because I tried to persuade him to play football with us yesterday.
You're too persuasive altogether.
Will you play football with me, Grandad Peter?
No, you go and play with your friend along the street.
I can't. He's gone off to play with his dad.
Oh, don't look at me. You were the one that persuaded him that Grandad's played football.
Yeah, but I haven't finished my soup.
I'll keep it warm for you.
Thank you. All right, just for an hour.
Are you a good player?
Good, good. I once had a trial for Spurs.
Did you really?
Well, nearly. I once nearly had a trial for Spurs.